Good morning, and thank you very much for joining us. I am Yori Fulani. Hope you had a great weekend. So we wake up this morning, where it actually must have started yesterday, and there's a bit more news, shall we say, on the whole tension created by herdsmen, marauding herdsmen. Now, a number of the papers are leading with the story that government has uncovered an Islamic State network in Nigeria. Now, you'll recall that ever since we've been talking about, Fulani herdsmen and marauding herdsmen and all of that, there's always been the caveat that, look, as we speak, maybe we should also spare a thought for the idea that perhaps these are not really nationals. They're not really, everybody's saying Fulani herdsmen, by which they mean Nigerian Fulani herdsmen. But what government has now said is that among those that have been apprehended include many who can speak only French. So there you go. That sort of suggests something. But let's look at the whole, shall we say, supporting evidence for the idea that indeed these terrorists that have been causing mayhem up and down, killings, destroying farms and all of that. Let's look at the whole scenario of government uncovering that. And my guests this morning, Dr. Fassi Yusuf is a lawyer and communications consultant. As always, thank you very much for coming on, Fassi.
Thank you, Yori.
Indeed, my pleasure. And Yemi Makwadeonu, Mr. Makwadeonu is a strategy and governance expert, as you well know, but I say it as many times as he comes here. Thank you very much for coming on.
Thank you for having me. Good morning, Nigerians.
Indeed. Fassi, the news that, okay, the word uncovers in one of the headlines, government uncovers. Might it therefore be that this has been the situation from the very, very beginning? We Nigerians are not just going to get up and start hacking ourselves to death and, pointing AK-47s at each other. So these are foreigners. ISWA, Islamic States of West Africa, are terrorists that government, through the DSS, has uncovered and have made a report to the presidency.
Well, unfortunately, I'm not persuaded by the statement. Over 10 years ago, we talked about Islamic State in Nigeria. When Boko Haram started, there was international disclosure that it had a link with Islamic State. Mm-hmm. And you remember, the American government warned us. And the time was when they were to label us as a terrorist state. Mm. So if you are now telling us that there is an element of Islamic State in the mayhem we've been witnessing over the years, over the months, it's something new. The question is, over the last 10, 15 years, what has government been doing to stem the tide? Mm-hmm. Again, remember I think I was on the program here last week. Was it last week? When the Fulani gentleman said that if you offend a Fulani man, he's not going to say much. He will just move from that place where he was assaulted. And the next day, or the next time around, his kinsmen who come as far from Mali to avenge.
Indeed.
To avenge. So what does...
A group entirely different.
Yes, and the question I asked then, or what I said then it means the whole security architecture has collapsed. Otherwise, how could somebody come in from Mali,
for example,
with AK, for example, or Niger, for example, with AK-47 or other assault weapons to unleash mayhem on people? And again, when you talk about foreigners killing Nigerians, have we not be killing ourselves? What about the Boko Haram? Are they not Nigerians? Most of them are Nigerians. Maybe perhaps you have maybe 0.1% foreigners among them. Up to this moment, they are still killing arming people in the Northeast. A time was when they said it was a Christian versus Muslim. Mm-hmm. Now they bomb mosques. They don't bomb churches again. So the whole scenario calls for a rethink about our security architecture. It collapsed. Yeah, I think it has to be rebuilt. We have to be more strategic in our approach to security issues. Mm. We've been a country rudderless rulers.
Okay. Yemi, your take on this explanation. Government uncovers Islamic State network as the latest news.
Well, personally, I have no evidence to disprove what the government has uncovered. But if the timing of the release of this news is meant to justify or put some logic in the spin that perhaps those who are perpetrating the mass murders, in Benue, in Plateau, in Taraba, are not Nigerians, as has been suggested by some commentators, I think it is a bit unintelligent. In addition to what Dr. Fassi Yusuf said, there are at least two main umbrella bodies of herdsmen, Fulani herdsmen in Nigeria. And none of them actually came up to say, we are not responsible for what happened. They have consistently, up until this moment, justified the killings by saying it was more of a reprisal for...
And in some cases, self-defense.
And in some cases, self-defense. So if indeed, like I expect, Dr. Yusuf said, about 10 years ago, this issue about the Islamic State infiltrating Nigeria has always been there. At a point in time, Shekau's Boko Haram pledged allegiance to the Islamic State. And even the Boko Haram flag is actually more or less a replica of the Islamic State flag. So bringing the Islamic State, whether it is Islamic State in Syria, in Libya, or in West Africa, I think at this moment, it can be taken as a challenge on its own and not trying to sway or try to explain what has happened, in Benue and some other parts of the North Central and the Northeast. In addition to that, just last week, Monday, there was a meeting between the president and elders, political leaders, and the rest of them from Benue State. And my takeaway from that meeting, based on what was released to the public, was that the president, who is the commander-in-chief of the armed forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, never in any of his statements indicate that these marauders are not Nigerians, and that reports at the disposal indicate that they are foreigners, and some have been arrested, and we're going after them. And but it was more or less conciliatory. Can you accommodate your brothers? So, and there was nothing wrong with that, asking the Benue people to accommodate their brothers. But you see, what people are talking about is, and you see, all of this has also affected the likelihood of us finding a solution to all of this.
But that's
it has affected our ability to find solution to the problem.
Exactly. I'm going to come back to that. In fact, that's where I want us to go. And Fassi, if you pick up the baton at this stage, I don't know how well this augurs for a satisfactory resolution of the crisis. If people, the actual victims, have a concept of who their attackers are, and in one case, the governor of Benue has actually said part of the healing process is going to be apprehend those guys, let them face trial, and let the court of due process, resolve this whole matter. Then we'll see that we want to be sincere. But now the way this is going, there's not going to be anybody you can hold. ISWA, IS West Africa, Islamic State of West Africa, well, it's good, but I don't know. What do you think this can threaten the whole process of resolving this as the president wants, as indeed all of Nigerians want it to be?
You see, personally, I think to put it in a simple Nigerian balance is just playing the blame game. Honestly, because you are trying to
playing the blame game.
Yes, because you know the source of this problem. You know the causative factors. Is that some people they're encroaching on your farmland, and you cannot do anything. Aside that, they're killing and maiming you. Apart from destroying your economic life, they're destroying your physical life and the physical life of the people from one place to the other. What stopped government from, like we said on this program, I was there last week, that look, why is it impossible for government to sensitize these people, to embark on advocacy, to let these people know that, look, if you want to pursue your economic interests, it should not be at the detriment of others. Because you are talking that, yeah, there must be freedom of movement. Yes, at what cost? Don't forget that for every benefit, then you also have responsibility. If you want to use my farmland, then you must pay for it. If you are moving from Sokoto to Lagos, then don't disturb the peace of others, the economic interests of others. Again, there's a law, a simple law in our criminal code, in our penal code, that look, any stray animal should be arrested. No talk of when you have mass of them. Any stray animal should be arrested. Even ordinary,
Even a stray dog.
a goat, even a stray dog, the owner is liable to prosecution. So we now see people, and again, have we ever asked ourselves, who are these people? Those people that we see as S-men are young boys between 10 and 21. We don't see the elderly ones among them, unless when they say they want to unleash mayhem. That's when they come under the cover of darkness, to, unleash, cause criminal activities.
Well, the answer to the question, who are these people, who are these boys, is probably what DSS, government through DSS is now saying it has uncovered.
Uncovered now.
And actually has effectively
It means
labeled
they
them
are
foreign terrorists.
They are giving credence to the fact that they have failed in their responsibility to the nation. And I've said it.
That is, how did they get in?
How did they get in?
Undetected.
You remember I mentioned we have...
What we've also
State
criticized our brothers here as being
State
porous.
Security Service, Immigration Service, the Police, Border Patrol, the Nigerian Army, the Air Force, immigration, name them, they're all there. So how did these people come to this country? And again, we have area surveillance by our paramilitary and military men. So what are they doing? To the extent that they will now live, okay, look, Benue is the central part of the country. Benue, the state that has been witnessing this is in the central part of the country.
Exactly.
So how did they
come that far
into the country?
These are questions that immediately come to mind, but at the same time, I suppose people would love to believe government and the DSS that has done all of this.
I tell you frankly, let's not deceive ourselves. I tell you frankly, I'm not here at the stage I am in my life to deceive anybody. Look, most of these security reports are meant to make government to appear to be doing something. And also, they want the whole world to think that they are doing something. Okay. Well, I've said this several times. Some of them, after some programs, they confront me, they ask me, you were once a police officer,
yes.
And again, why are you saying all this? Okay. Look, the truth must be told.
It must be told.
If we don't tell ourselves the truth, then this country can never make any progress.
But without prejudice to that perspective, Fassi, I want to ask you that. Because people want what government is saying to be true. I mean, it's like we can really wish and hope and be idealistic. Say, okay, now it's all explained. But government needs to go further beyond writing that some of those apprehended speak only the French version of whatever it is that we speak. How we distinguish a Nigerian Fulani from another one. I don't know. I don't know how that is going to go down, but they probably have to do a bit more to show a sincerity of purpose and to belie what Fassi is saying, that, look, politicians around the world are known to throw these red herrings from time to time so that we, the commentators, have something to grab hold of. But one would fervently wish and hope that there is a breakthrough here in DSS uncovering foreign terrorists in Benue and other states.
You know, Dr. Fasi Yusuf is a communications expert. And as a strategist, I also know that effective communication is the bedrock of an effective strategy. Unfortunately, this government seems to have fallen flat in the area of effectiveness of its communication. Now, it's possible if all of this information are being released to make the government look good, I'm afraid it's actually making the government, to look very bad. The perception out there, in the public is that you don't believe government. Even when they're saying the truth, you don't just believe government. And so because of that, it behoves on government to ensure that for every information, for every communication out there is already a track of intelligent investigation that will convince beyond reasonable doubt that this is not just something that we dug up yesterday just to create a facade or to divert people's attention from what is on ground. Because come to think of it, the government already admitted that there is an issue with the Fulani herdsmen, the itinerant Fulani herdsmen. And that is why several solutions have been preferred, exactly. Establishing ranches and colonies and the rest of it. So certainly.
That didn't have any external content.
No,
that
absolutely
thinking had
not. Absolutely.
No
and that is
content.
why I'm just assuming, I'm just giving government the benefit of the doubt that, okay, this DSS report may actually have some veracity. But then, what is the value of this information to Nigerians, even to government at this moment? What I expect is that at this level, this should remain information that can be converted into intelligence and then into some form of action. And so when you got to the end of the investigation, you cannot come out boldly to say, this is something that we've been pursuing for the last 2-3 years, and this is the result. That is what happens in other climes. I'm talking about the porosity of Nigeria's borders. I think it's becoming, extremely embarrassing. 216 people were said to have returned from Libya. Yobe indigents were returned from Libya as Nigerians, only for about 33 of them to have been found to be Nigerians. So they were sent to Nigeria as Nigerians.
That is nationals of Niger.
Nationals of Niger were repatriated to Nigeria as Nigerians. And then they were received as Nigerians. But by the time they got to Yobe, I don't know whatever happened. They now discovered that these are actually 33 of them. Actually not
after they had been
Nigerians.
profiled.
After they've been profiled
in Libya.
I'm profiled in Libya, profiled here by immigration.
Maxwell
Maxwell
wants to come in.
Just a moment, please.
He's been holding on for a while. I'm sorry, I'll come straight back to you. Maxwell, good morning.
Good morning, Mr. And good morning, Dr. Fasi and the other gentleman.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Good morning.
You see, I am not enthused with what is, they happen in Nigeria. It's bound to happen in a state, a nation where security is not taken as the utmost thing. That nation will always suffer. In Ghana here, they shot at 4 soldiers, 5 soldiers, 3 are critically in the hospital, and 2 has been discharged. The same Fulani herdsmen. In Nigeria, when I was at Nguru Yobe State, former 29 Battalion, Abacha gave us what we call FSMO, full-scale marching order to deal with those people, the recalcitrants, the touts, they call the gendarmeries or something like that were coming from the jail to Nguru Yobe State.
Okay.
We dealt with them. We chased them out of them. In fact, they were rustling cattle and they were taking taxis from the natives around that Nguru town. We chased them out of that place. Just a battalion of 750, not even up to 350 soldiers took that operation that time. FSMO. Why is it that Nigeria cannot. I always, when I call from here, I will tell you that Nigeria will lack political leadership. We have leaders, and we lack political leadership. Oh, I don't want to talk. And if I talk, they will do like this. Oh, if I talk, they will say, I am a Christian, I'm a Muslim, I am Igbo, I am Hausa, Yoruba. This is our problem in Nigeria. Nobody wants to. And Nigeria is like a cow that is owned by the whole community. That cow would die of hunger. And another thing, if you will permit me, Mr. Yore, is that I know Buhari as my president. He is a man that has lukewarm attitude in taking decisions. And most of the actions, most of the stringent decisions they took during their time when he was the military head of state were taken by Tunde Idiabo, the late Brigadier General Tunde Idiabo. I give it to him. That was what we normally call him, a.k.a. slow man. That's what we call them.
Okay then. Well, thank you very much, Mr. Maxwell. Really appreciate your call. I mean, you were in service, and so these are privileged, the communications that you're sharing with us. Thank you very much.
Yori, what I wanted to say was that there must be credibility in government action. You see, in communication, most credibility is lacking. Yeah. The channel is lost. The message is lost. The messenger is rubbished. Again, can you note that in the last 50, 80 years, we've been seeing French-speaking Fulanis in Nigeria as Megad. So why are they just telling us now
exactly
that you have a French-speaking Fulanis? During the Shadian Civil War, they all came to Nigeria. During the Nigerian crisis, they all came to Nigeria. And during the drought in Mali and other Saharan, they all came to Nigeria.
So we've always had them
many
around.
of us took them in as Megad. They could neither speak Hausa nor English, but Fufude.
And there's still a few of them.
Not
Even
a few,
as we speak.
many of them.
Many of them.
Many of them. Remember those days when they'll be begging about?
Agumadadani.
Yes. So why are they now standing up? You see, I don't want people, our security agents, to be thinking as unintelligent, unschooled, untutored elements. They can tell that to the Marines, but not to some intelligent Nigerians.
Well, you factor in, Yemi, you factor in what Maxwell was saying. He's an ex-serviceman.
I don't go to individuals. I don't talk about individuals.
I know you don't talk about individuals.
I don't talk about individuals.
But I want to bring up something Maxwell pointed out, which is that we have this penchant among us for not being able to
call a spade a spade.
Oh, thank you very much. That's the English version, but call a spade a spade. Because of so many reasons. Because I'm a man and there's only women that
I want to be
because
fair.
I'm a Christian and they're only Muslims.
And
because I'm Muslim and so on and so forth. And I don't want to ruffle feathers, most importantly. And I guess this has become part and parcel so that when we are speaking, we all know that, quite a fair bit of it is BS, but nobody is allowed to say so in the interest of a perceived harmony and peace. Even if there are pressing matters that need to be aired and addressed so that we can sort them out, we take the easy way out, which is don't bring it up, postponing the whole matter to another day, if not an evil.
No, you see, by nature, by persuasion, and to some extent by training, not everybody will behave in that manner of saying it as it is, especially in public.
Yes.
But
when you do in Nigeria, you become a radical, right?
Yes, because again for me, you see,
that's where the Fawemis of this world, the Bearclaws of this world, and scores of other people you can mention all over the place, got their tag from.
But those gentlemen that you mentioned left their,
comfort zone.
Yes, they left their comfort zone.
Yeah, exactly.
And long after they have gone, they are still remembered. But if you cast your mind back to the past and now, those were not the only ones who rabble-rouse. But people were able to link what they say in public to what they do in private.
When you use the word rabble-rouse, it's not the most positive because it sounds like they were just causing unnecessary trouble without any substance.
But you agree with me that while, the respected Gani Fawehinmi was alive. I mean, they criticized almost everything to the extent that the former president Obasanjo said, well, I stopped taking him seriously because he can also criticize himself,
Okay.
which is not necessarily a bad thing. You know, it makes you get better. But what I'm saying in essence is that the people I frown at are those who are close to power and who refuse to speak truth to power. As a leader, there are times that you guard what you say. I'm not defending people who are just politicians who behave in a particular way so that they will pander to an interest and then benefit from it pecuniarily or otherwise. I'm talking of those who are concerned about, you know, maintaining a form of equilibrium and peace in the society. But they speak truth to power. But they don't come out to say, oh, my people are being, there are those who will do that, but not everybody will do that. Okay. So for me, that's not really a problem. I see more of a problem in the lethargic nature, the prevarication of people in leadership, in taking, you know, critical decisions. And I think that's what has got us to where we are today.
Abiodun in Kwara State, good morning.
Oh, good morning.
Thank you for calling in. Go ahead, please.
Onkiori, good morning.
Good morning, sir. Please go ahead now.
Yes. Well, yes, sir. Onkiori, good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, sir. We're highly disappointed with what is happening at the moment. You see, the case of IPOB wasn't up to this, and they didn't record any killings. The government went ahead and tagged them as a what's it called, terrorist group. The issue at hand presently.
No, you're going to have to speak in a flow. Don't listen to the echo, please.
Okay.
So you don't take double the time.
Okay. In Benue, they recorded so many killings. In other northeastern states. Okay, in Benue, they've recorded so many killings. In other parts of the north, they've recorded so many killings. Now, government are telling us these people are foreigners. These are known facts. Herdsmen are everywhere. They've been operating in different states. They encroach farms, they rape, they kill, they burn. Imagine you owning a farm, that you are a farmer, and you own a farm where you've invested so much money, and some set of people encroach into your farm, they burn the whole of your farm, that's the whole of your investment. Imagine the farm is on loan.
Yeah, but hello, Mr. Abiodun, the point is, government now says, the DSS says that it has uncovered foreign terrorists in Benue, those hotspots. So do you see that as part of the answer that we're looking for? Okay, now things are beginning to be clear. Or, as we have said from the studio here, Fasi has said, it's not a new thing to have foreign Fulani nationals among us. This has been going on for what? More than 50 years. But why is it now coming out as if this is the first time a French-speaking Fulani has,
infiltrated Nigeria?
Yes.
This is not the first time we've been hearing about such. S-men invading farms, killing. In fact, I can tell you categorically, all over Nigerians, there have been cases of S-men everywhere.
Yeah, but they're not Nigerian herdsmen. These are terrorists. IS, Islamic State, West Africa, according to DSS.
Sure they are terrorists. These are known people that we see on a daily basis. We see them. There was a case of a farm around Ilorin here. They invaded the farm. They beat up the workers in the farm. And, you know, their kinsmen, they came the next day and they were apologizing. They are sorry about that. We need to be straightforward according to what Dr. Fasi said.
All right, then. Thank you very much. I have to go to a break now, but thank you very much, Abiodun from Kwara State, for calling in. Stay with us, please. We'll be right back. Okay, welcome back. And if you're just joining us, we're looking at the report, the new report that the DSS has uncovered foreign terrorists in Nigeria. And I guess the reasoning is that these are the real culprits in what we've been referring to as a Fulani herdsman, and by implication that being Fulani that we know, Nigerian Fulanis. Now the idea is widened a bit to say that since there are Fulanis along the entire coast of West Africa, these are probably foreigners. That was speculative, but now DSS has said it is indeed the case. Some people that we have apprehended, or is it arrested, speak only French version of Hausa or whatever language, Fulani, that they speak. And as an aside, totally unrelated, few accused have returned to Lagos. So that is yet another problem. As I said, not related to this, but I'm just remembering that. Now back to the whole, uncovering of foreign herdsmen. Herdsmen, by the way, among other things, set fire to Falaye's farm and in Ondo State. And of course,
in Kwara too.
Nafa Chief. Yeah. That's another big farm. For some reason, farms are being destroyed. Papers are saying IS, that is Islamic State, infiltrates Benue, Edo, and Kogi states, according to the presidency itself. And the potential for conflict here, of course, we're seeing that in relation to the news that herdsmen set Falaye's farm ablaze in Ondo, Afenifere is saying that we're not going to take this lightly. So these are the kind of tensions that we don't need at all. In Ekiti State, Governor Fayose has said he has his own idea. Hunters are going to come in. He has said, I'm going to hold Fulani leaders responsible.
Yes.
For. So you see, this is really a very, very delicate situation. And I don't know if this news is supposed to douse that or what.
It's complicating issues.
No, I think
it's complicating issues. Internationally, honestly, it's an embarrassment.
Has jumped in.
Honestly, it's an embarrassment to this country. It's an embarrassment to this country. I'm sorry, man.
no, it's okay, sir.
It's an embarrassment to.
Okay. Actually, I was speaking to Yemi, and it's
Okay,
okay.
to Yemi.
Yeah, it's okay. It's one.
No.
But in any case, I've got to go to Sadiq in Jigawa State. Okay. Good morning, Sadiq.
Okay, good morning.
Thank you for calling in, sir.
Thank you, Okiori. Okiori, I think I want to make 2 to 3 contributions to this issue you're discussing about.
Okay.
First and foremost, the federal government said that's where the DSS, they said it's a foreign terrorist in Benue State. If this assertion is true, then the Fulani headsmen we have in this country deserve an unreserved apology. Because all these things that has been happening, everything Fulani. So that is one. Secondly, if you are to ask what is the achievement of this present administration, number one, you talk about security. That was the main reason that brought this government into power, security. So for them to fight this government, to wrestle this government down, they have to bring about another insecurity. Vis-a-vis, they will say the government cannot attain anything. They have not done anything in terms of security because we have killings here, Benue, Taraba, all the rest. So the opposition will use this to fight the government. So I think this issue of Fulani herdsmen, they are politicizing it, to be frank. And going into the history of Fulani, they have been existing long before the independence of this country. They have been very pastoral in their nature, and we've not had these issues coming up of recent killing, Fulani herdsmen killing 70 people, 80 people. We all know their nature, and we've been living with them, be it in the village, be it in the city, we know their nature. They are one of the most volatile set of human beings. Once you touch their animal, then they will retaliate. So the easiest way to bring about havoc to this government is to go about the Fulani men, kill their cattle, and they start going into villages. So I think it's two things. If it's the foreign terrorists that as they claim, then definitely the Fulani deserve an unreserved apology. Then if they are the one, then we have to look at who is causing the issue, who is causing the havoc between the Fulani, the cattle, and the village settlements we have around them.
All right, then. Well, thank you very much for calling in. Appreciate your call.
I think with due respect to Sadiq, that argument of conspiracy theory really doesn't fly. It doesn't fly because the Fulani themselves under different groupings have repeatedly justified the killings. So it's not in any doubt anymore who was responsible
because these Fulani groupings could easily have said, we
didn't do it.
We didn't do it. It
Yes.
wasn't us.
Yeah, I mean,
that has never been said in Nigeria.
look, the Meiti,
Or at least it hasn't been reported.
now,
The Meiti Allah
now the Meiti Allah
categorically
consistently
said,
sir, even the emir of Kano also, rather than condemn what happened, that Sanusi Lamido, also gave a kind of a veiled justification of the killing, that over 800 Fulanis were killed and nobody said anything. So what that means, essentially, being the grand patron, he owned up that he and the Sultan are grand patrons of the Meiti Allah. And so these are two gentlemen who actually have some form of persuasive, moral authority over these people to stop them from perpetrating this. So I don't buy the conspiracy theory idea. It doesn't fly absolutely with me.
Fassi, the idea that this could well be opposition finding trouble for government so as to, further distract them and end up in they haven't been able to do much.
so the question I ask, what is the duty of the security apparatus? So you mean the opposition will sponsor foreigners to infiltrate the country so that they can now get access to government to be able to rule over a divided country? I mean, it's illogical.
This is
It's illogical.
This is the
But
whole problem.
he's entitled to his opinion. But we also were entitled to our opinion. And we as commentators, as analysts, we are saying that the government should be up to its responsibility. And you see, some of these things are nonsensical. Like SSS, I don't call them DSS because there's not like DSS in the Constitution, according to say it. The State Security Service, have they ever thought of the international dimension to all these things? Supposing another country now label us as a terrorist state, as a country aboarding IS.
Yeah,
Because a time was when America was to label Nigeria
that's right.
as a terrorist state, and Nigeria was fighting tooth and nail to say, look, no, we don't have about terrorists. We are now admitting before the whole world that, look, Nigeria
Has been infiltrated.
has been infiltrated.
But we've apprehended some of them.
Some of them.
So it means
So America, Britain, France, Canada, and some other countries will now be very critical about admitting Nigerians into their country.
okay, one moment. Let me take it. Samuel Issa in Ikorodu. Good morning.
Good morning, Yori. How are you? And our guest in the house, good morning.
Morning, sir.
This assertion that Islamic terrorists are the one that has invaded Nigeria is unbelievable because IS occupy territories. They don't fight guerrilla war. So I don't believe it that it is IS. Let the federal government face the real problem of security. The security is one of the primary functions of the federal government. And every Nigerian must be safe anywhere. So let the government do their work. Let the intelligence do their work and secure the life of Nigerians. There should be no excuse. There should be no politics. We don't play politics with the safety of your citizens. Thank you.
Indeed, short and sharp. That that contribution from Sam. Well, what we are left with is government. I mean, until somebody can prove them wrong, they say this is part of the answer to the questions that are being asked. But we are getting reactions to this assertion. How did they come in? That's, okay, how did they come in here? And when you juxtapose this with what you have said and what the gentleman, Sadiq, said, they've been with us forever. We've not had this kind of a problem. We've not had this kind of an issue. So why now? Look, when we were kids, you knew the Agumodadani variety of them.
Yes.
So we never saw them as killers as well.
No.
No. Yeah, they were who they were, part of
Trying to make a living?
Yes, eke out a living. Yes, they went around with these knives, you know, that was part of their dress up, like many people, you know, from of that sort of northern African extraction.
Because of the perils of their job, you know, they work
it became part of their ordinary.
And it became accepted by the rest of us.
Yes,
right?
Yeah, exactly.
Because if I move around in Lagos with the cutlass in my hand this way,
no,
I'm sure people. But
somebody's going to.
But when you say full animal, just so
it was part of his.
They have been accommodated. So there is no need for anybody to even plead for them to be accommodated. Nigerians have been extremely accommodative.
Exactly.
The onus is now on those who have been accommodated to show respect and concern and be sensitive even to the well-being, to the life
but
of
we have
of
this
those
problem.
who
You cited the emir
in the Bible.
You know, Kano being careful in the Bible, carefully choosing his words.
In the Bible, I think in Exodus 22:13 or thereabout, this kind of situation was anticipated. That if you have livestock, and your livestock strays into somebody's farm and destroys that farm, you have to compensate the owner of that farm with the best of your own possession.
Okay.
So, in a way, it was a way of saying, don't allow your livestock to destroy
and even,
other people's
was it Fayose who was saying that he had extracted an agreement? No, either Fayose or Akérèdọ́lù. One of them had said that we have these agreements that if this happens, then we sort it out this way.
Even last week, the Minister of Agric, Audogbe, was at the Army Farm Settlement in the outskirts of Abuja. And they were able to ranch their cattle to the extent I think they have over 1,000, 2,000 heads there and being fed without letting them to stray into other parts of Abuja.
Exactly. And they look well nourished.
What stops these farmers from ranching their cattle?
Okay. Yakub, good morning in Dokwemu.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Good morning, Chief Jerry.
Good morning, Yakub.
And then good morning, Dr. Fassi, and then my gentleman in the studio. Good morning, sir.
Mr. Mark Badeno.
Mr. Mark Badeno, thank you. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
You see, Chief Jerry, I was going to tell you in the course of discussing this very particular issue some time ago, I think maybe 3 weeks ago, that until Nigerian federal government declared these people as a terrorist, you are going to continue hearing about this killing, reckless killing. I call it reckless killing. Now, they are not coming out now telling us they discover Islamic State terrorists in those states. Chief, maybe by systematically trying to telling us this S-man, the criminal aspect of them, they are terrorists. They should come out, tell Nigeria, these people, they are terrorists. For federal government to tell us that they discover Islamic State terrorists in Benue State and whatever, Chief Jury, I still standing on that point. Until Nigerian government declare these people rich terrorists, they are not going to stop. Let me give you a clear example. Now, they are saying, one of your guests said it earlier that, you as a person, Mr. Oduji said it, that maybe the government of the day, they are telling Nigerians that maybe the opposition sponsored these people to come and invade them so that they can get to power. You cannot tell us that. I'm telling you, me as a person, I support this government. Till tomorrow, I'm still supporting them. Maybe I can change my position to tomorrow, but for this moment, I'm supporting them. But there's something you cannot tell Nigeria. Nigeria will never take it. You cannot tell us that the opposition has sponsored these people to come and invade so that in order to get to power. What is the prerogative of the government? For you not to deter whether the opposition has sponsored anybody. You have DSS, you have all the security apparatus in your cupboard. They should be able to detect whatever anybody sponsor. You cannot tell Nigerians that. The federal government should take the bull by the horn. They should declare these people terrorists so that they can go after them and then deal with them decisively. Thank you and God bless you.
Indeed. Thank you very much. Yes. Well, at this stage, bearing in mind what we've said from the beginning of this program, and also bearing in mind what government has put out as the latest on the whole crisis of mass killings by marauding herdsmen. Let's leave out any particular, differentiation. Marauding herdsmen. So what should be the next move? Let's even say, okay, this is what you've said. What exactly should we now do with this?
The federal government should speak out. There has not been any categorical statement from the federal government to condemn these acts of destruction, killing.
When the president met with
Excuse me,
Minete
that was a disaster. Many people had no reason to be there. The presidency should have come to Benue. You are mourning, and yet you went out. People should have come to them. You are mourning your loved ones, and yet you could go out to do what? So that was a misadventure.
Okay.
And it was...
so when you say we should speak out, that didn't happen at that meeting?
It did not happen.
Okay.
It was palliative. Then secondly, government now should realize that...
Samson and Wari, I'm coming to you.
Government should realize that the days of allowing S-men to just be moving from one place to the other is gone.
Okay. But you know, Sadiq said, well, this is a traditional... we've known them to be pastoralists.
So they have the right to come to my own place.
We all have traditions.
We all have traditions too. We are farmers. I've said it the other time, I'm a Muslim, but allow pigs to also move to the north.
Okay.
Yes.
Allow
pigs.
Pigs.
Yeah, pork, to move to the north.
Okay. Samson and Wari, good morning.
Good morning, Dr. Professor Onkuyori. Happy New Year.
The way we don't get it, that's you.
It's been long. I travel. Sir, I want to ask one question. If by the opportunity, I don't want to go to Europe, like African country, please, where can I go to? I don't understand this country. Government is full of lies and propaganda. Good. Let us check it like this. We have discussed something like this. Yeah. He said there are foreigners indulge depth into our country, do all those ones, do this, that. It's a pure lie on a piece of earth. Come down to Delta here in Ogara. They caught them like this, one-on-one. Don't worry. You people
Samson, the problem here is that specialists, professionals, namely DSS, no less, tell us this. And then you as a civilian...
That guy is mocking you.
Well, you as a civilian, you are now saying it's a lie. Explain.
That's what I'm saying. Sir, we have a youth forum now. We have gathered each other up. And don't worry, we are going to catch nothing less than 5. So once we can give you 5, we prove everybody wrong, that they are not foreigner. They are our pure Fulani here. That's number 1. Number 2, sir, if you could check the major function of government in democracy, I think the first one is security of life and property, right? How can a public office holder like governor, 212 security guys around him? Why me? All of us, maybe in a region like 600 people, have one policeman. So we have to think about the security of people that are governing. If a governor, a senator, we have nothing less than 80-something or 60-something. So now that's why we are calling for state security police. We know each other. Like in my own community, we know each other very, very well. We know guys that can do this thing. We have local vigilante. But before you go into some area, all those police that have been transferred here, they don't even know anywhere. At the end of the day, what are you governing? You are governing nothing. So they should look inwards.
All right,
don't worry. Next year, February, things are going to change. Good morning there in Lagos, sir.
Thank you very much, Samson. Well, Samson is categorical. Government is not being truthful. He said it in a more violent way.
Yeah, but you remember the other time, the guy that you paired with us that day, he said, the Fulani man, he said, look. Yes, I think it's a Fulani man
airline operator
that is in a position to tell you the truth.
As a Fulani man,
as a Fulani man, that look, they have their dragnet all over West Africa. Yeah. That once you offend one Fulani man, it doesn't say much. He migrates to another place, but he will tell his people there that, look, I was chased out of a particular place. And before you know it, they will come overnight, do whatever they want to do, and get out of that place.
No, they can't. But you see, this is the whole thing. Even though, yes, Alhaji Tukur did say that, we were all shocked when we heard it, that in 2018, we're still
Mosaic law, a knife and knife.
Hammurabi laws are still in force.
A knife and knife.
Yeah, no.
And then everybody
and
goes
if he
blind.
knew it, I guess every Fulani knows that tradition.
Yes.
The president is also a Fulani man. It's not an irrelevancy, you know. So,
and the head of SSS is a Fulani man.
so all of these things are in there, and these things are being said, and now government has come up with this sort of explanation. Well, at least here we are.
I said it is unintelligent for SSS to come up with that.
Even some of these statements, some of these justifications about it's our culture, it's our tradition, I think it smacks of arrogance, because
it's not
where
helpful. It's not helpful.
Yes,
Everybody has their tradition.
Where does the integration? I mean, if everybody exactly, we all can say this is how we are, and then we cannot change. We've got to be accommodative. You can it's impunity.
The next thing you do is that Igbo traders will also come to invade Lagos or any other place and do not pay rent. They take over the shops, they will not pay rent because they are traders.
And then Yoruba people.
They are traders. What are we known for? So we can also go to another place.
And
I'm sure you don't see
this is the way we are.
Those into Pigri,
yes.
we now take their pigs to the north
and
and occupy the places
we have to accommodate.
We have to accommodate us.
You know, so you see how ridiculous it gets. Mazi Okoroafo, good morning, sir.
Good morning, Sir Yodi. Good morning, our guests in the studio. You see, Mr. Yodi, how this issue of rumor mongering or murmuring or rumoring, well, I agree, like what the DSS or SS told us. Now, I would suggest...
Which one is rumor? No, DSS has dispelled the rumor.
Yes, I said before now.
Oh, okay, before when we didn't know.
But now it's not a confirmed story that we have IS people in Nigeria. It's a confirmed directly from the DSS. Now, what I'm suggesting now is that the DSS, now they should not tell the state government or the federal government or the state or local government. Let them place what we call a price tag, like what Wike did in Rivers State. When that man came on that first January and created problem, that anybody who knows where these people are, that is entitled as a whistleblower, 5 million or 10 million, a price tag. If they do that, I think Nigerian people would like to cope this forest by themselves instead of waiting for a security agent to come, because all these things we are just people are within us, and that's what I've been saying. The traditional rulers, they have a role to play. Our next door neighbor will have a role to play, because security is probably important for everybody, not only one person. Government should place a price tag of at least 5 million. Wherever they are, they should tell them. Thank you very much.
Indeed. Thank you very much, Mazi Okoroafo. Yeah, that's an idea. Okay, why doesn't government just put a bounty on these people's head and say, look, you people, bring, you know.
You see this problem is
going
more...
back. It's going back to we don't say all.
Government does that quite often, but the point is, for how long shall we continue to monetize security? It is the responsibility of government. As I said, we have multiplicity of security agencies in Nigeria. So what are they doing?
Well,
what are they doing?
Maybe that's a fine place to leave it, because we've run out of time. What exactly our security people are doing? This story has come out. Well, we all have heard how we react to it. I don't think from the few minutes that we have spent on the program, it's not necessarily with relief. Indeed, it's perhaps with a bit more apprehension. But well, this news probably needs to be explained a bit more, maybe proved a bit more. But for the moment, I don't know why.
Beyond doubt.
People are taking it with a pinch of salt.
Yes.
And I want to thank you, Dr. Fassi.
Because people are doubting the reports released by SSS. And once there's lack of credibility in information, in governance, then the whole thing's upside down.
That's very, very important to communication. And Yemi has said that it's no less important to strategy as well.
Yes, certainly.
Thank you very much, Mr. Yemi Makwadiono, as well. Thank you, gentlemen, for sharing your perspectives. So that's our program. Please join us tomorrow, 10:30 in the morning, for a fresh edition. I am Iyori Folani. Bye-bye for now.